Hello everyone, welcome back to Electro-Anarchy. Guess what I got today? Still don't know? I didn't either exactly at first. All I knew is it had a camera and it had some cool looking buttons. Come to find out that this is a Vision Technology Freedom Machine. Looks like it was used for people who are visually disabled, that have to have things magnified. And so it's a cool little unit. Basically, you put whatever you want here. There's a camera up inside with lights, and it illuminates anything underneath here. You have a monitor up above, and it would show a picture of that. And I thought, man, this would make a really cool magnification rig. Put your motherboard or whatever kind of board on here, and you can unlock this guy and move it wherever you want it, and you can check it all out. But here's the thing with this. Picked it up at Goodwill and Goodbytes, and for $14.99. It says works but picture fades out. Well, I plugged this into the only device I have that has an analog input, and it seems to work, but it's in black and white. So I thought, well, why don't I turn this into digital with color and maybe increase the resolution. So that's what I plan on doing, and I thought, well, you know, might as well video this thing, and let's see what we can find out inside of this. So I'm gonna take this thing apart. Looks like there's just a few screws. First of all, let's get the power plugged and get this thing taken apart. I'm kind of excited to see what's in here because I've never taken one of these guys apart. Didn't even know they existed. I have a microscope that I bought. Little Chinese job, little piece of crap stand for it. It works really good, but the stand is absolute junk. So I've been wanting to find something to put the optics in, and you can't get much better than this guy. It is solid steel. There's no joking on this guy at all. Alright, it's really not that heavy, it's just sitting on this table. It's kind of a chore to get there we go, okay, to get moved around. Either that or I haven't been eating enough Wheaties. Alright. Looks like there's another screw hidden away underneath here. And of course that's not going to work, so we just have to get us a screwdriver. Longest screw I've ever seen. Okay, there has to be some reason for a screw that long. Alright. Well, as Dave Jones would say, we're in like flannel. Now, let's check this thing out. Alright. So it looks like we have a couple of bulbs here. And these, now it looks like they've been changed out. Let's see what wattage we got on these guys. I know they're pretty decent. Nice and bright. So we have 15 watt CFLs. Pretty cool. Westinghouse, the ones that ripped off Nikola Tesla. And this one is also 15 watts, so they're a matched pair. That's awesome. Alright, let's see what we got here as far as optics. Looks like we have we got a camera with a mirror. The mirror looks a little dirty. So we got a camera mounted here. And it looks like there's more wiring here that is disabled. Or just not connected. I'm gonna have to check this stuff out. Looks like the power supply comes off on this side. My first thought when I saw this was to convert it into something else because it has the nice bed that moves around. But after getting it and finding out what it actually does, I think it would be kind of cool to just upgrade the camera in it and use it as a board inspection device. The resolution on it really didn't look that bad. It just was in black and white, not in color. Which all the articles I read on this said that they were in color. So there's a possibility that just might be a bad connection or something that's just gone wonky. Who knows? Let's see. That fits. I thought this would come off. Maybe it's glued. Okay, so there's an EMI filter. That's pretty cool. Alright. Okay, they must like their long screws. Alright, so here we are. This is the optics of the system. Interesting, this says 500 black and white. So maybe this is indeed a black and white unit. Let's see if there's a way to upgrade that or change that. Really don't know. But we got some cool stuff over here. Looks like some camera controls. Autofocus on and off, far, near, telescopic, wide. I bet you do some research and see, but this camera might be, there's even some wires here snipped. Do some research and see if there's some modifications that can be done with this. Very, very, very interesting. It looks almost as if the motor controls for the zoom are separate from the camera itself. I'll do a little bit of research on this and come back to it. As you can tell, I started putting this thing back together. I started pulling this apart, and looking at it, and then when I found out this camera right here is actually a Sony all-in-one camera system. The focus, the zoom, all of this is automatic built into here. The CCD is back here. This is a really, it's a high quality camera. Matter of fact, on eBay right now there's two available and they're both $500 a piece. I paid $15 for this unit and got a $500 camera inside of it. Awesome. The control board, I pulled it out and got to looking at it, and it has an Atmel microprocessor here. Of course, I don't know, I don't think I can pull the code off of this. I didn't really mess with it, not right now, because I want to look at some other options. But this is set to black and white only, unfortunately. It does have composite out, and that's the only video out on this thing. So that's something I'd want to change. This camera is full color, basically 480i, and for the function that this does, that resolution will be absolutely fine. I'm going to put it all back together, hook up a monitor. I'll show you guys here in a minute. We'll switch to the computer, show you what I pulled up for a service manual on this particular camera, so you guys will know if you go into Goodwill or something like that and you see one of these things, you'll know what to expect on the inside, because it's well worth getting one of these. I'm really excited about this. Well, this is the camera that it has in it. It's a FCB IX47. It is just basically a standard resolution camera, but it is a high quality Sony camera for industrial purposes, professional, movies, all different kinds of things. They're actually just kind of a package camera. Everything is built in, the focus, everything is all built in. Really, really cool camera. It's the first time I've ever come across one of these and something like that. It's really nice. I was able to get the service manual and go through all of this, and it has all the video outs, which I'm probably going to end up having to build a board. Unfortunately, the control board that's included in this unit it seems to only output black and white, which is going to drive me bonkers, but for the time being, it's fine. It also has a ton of other features that you can hook an Arduino up to it and basically talk to it, send commands to it. All these different functions here. It's just really cool the way this thing's set up. It's basically a professional camera all in one package, and it outputs. It's just really great. But anyway, it's really a neat example of the the gems sometimes you find in equipment that you just wouldn't imagine. So anyway, this is the camera that's in it. Like I said, this thing is it's made by Sony. It's a FCB IX47. Now, since I put this all back together, I went down and I needed to buy a monitor. I did not have anything that ran analog. So what I did was I went back down to Goodbytes, and I picked this guy up for $10. It is a Westinghouse. I mean, it's not the greatest in the world, but it is an analog monitor. The only catch was it did not have a power supply. So what I did was, let's get back here. This required 19 volts at 2.6 amps, and I did not have basically a good power supply to run this off of. So I built one. Basically took this out of a laser printer. It is a 24 volt. It's 24 volt output. I believe it's 1. I'm not sure if you can see. It's like, might be 2 amps. I'm not too sure. But the decrease in voltage will raise the amperage, and I mean, this is kind of it's kind of on the borderline, but it works. That's the bottom line. Not exactly the greatest, but for right now, it works. Any case, hooked up the video out to there, up to the monitor, and this also has a power plug so that I could plug the TV in here. So once you turn the system on, it all comes on at once. Now, I am going to eventually modify this thing to get color and also change from the CFLs to an LED to get a wider light, but just wanted to show you guys what this guy can actually do. It fires up, everything comes on. It's just on analog. Now, I'm going to have to, for whatever reason, the automatic doesn't automatically detect. Here we go, AV1, and here we are. So if I put my hand underneath here, let's see if you guys can see it. Yeah, about like that. So if, let's say for example, I have one of these TFT adapter boards. These chips, it's really hard to read exactly what's on these chips. But if I put it here, as you can see, get a very good view. Now this, you can set it up to turn the autofocus on and off. Works best with it on. You can also switch from different video modes, change the contrast, or you can reverse. And kind of interesting, so when you zoom in, it gives you a better way of reading the text, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, I wish this was in color. It will eventually be from color, or in color. The camera, it is a Sony camera. It does have the capability, actually way more capabilities than what this thing is using. So eventually I'm going to tap into that. But for right now, it's actually really neat. I can zoom quite a ways in and get a pretty decent focus. Well, that's about, maybe got it a little too much. There we go. So I can get in about like that, and if I go back to normal mode, you can also trace out circuits. This little tray here, you can move it left and right, up and down, and it's really nice. Eventually I want to get some better detail on the solder joints, but it works really nice. For example, finding out what number this power converter is. There it is. And let's see what else. Let's see if I can find one of those radios. Here we go. If you guys have ever messed with the NRF 24L01s, these guys right here, you know how almost impossible it is to read anything off of these guys. But I have to get it level. Putting it in here, can quite easily read anything I want off of it, which is downright awesome. So for $15, well, actually the overall setup is 25 bucks. So what we're looking at right there, that rig, $25. So good for going out and picking. This just goes to show you, you'd be surprised at what stuff is out there and what you can bring back from the dead, or just use and repurpose from what other people don't want. Yeah, so eventually I'll do a few more things to this, but man, I'm happy. See you next time.